And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Elite Series League of Legends Division 2 here on Rift Entertainment. Today with Ale as my duo cast partner. Ale, how are you?
The mute button. So, like I said, I'm doing great because after all these beautifully played team fights from those two teams, I mean, I could just make a picture out of this mid lane fight where they just tower dived. I mean, beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, definitely. And just now seeing Pertinax with the split push was quite phenomenal, but in the end it didn't work out. And like I said, full clear really is one of the biggest surprises in our whole league at the moment, I would even say. Coming from a major circuit into the league and just crushing people here and there with their unique champions, with their unique playing style. And yeah, I quite like full clear. I need to see that. I need to see more of them. And maybe, I mean, we saw them against Dynasty, a team who is struggling a little bit right now. Then we saw them against JMGG winning. We saw them against Pertinax winning. So kinda not against the top dogs winning, and they already lost against Aurora. So we might see a really clutch game if they play against SLOTHS. But before that, of course, we go into the next game with SLOTHS against NXT. And just to keep you guys updated, because that's a really important thing, we will not see any ban coming from NXT, and we will see 2 emergency substitutes coming in for NXT. There was some unfortunate events in with the org NXT, and because of those emergency supports and because of not getting like a roster in time, being locked, they lost all their banning rights. So that's the reason why we not see any bans from them. So SLOTHS have kinda like a huge bouquet. They can just ban 3 things and just get all the good stuff for themselves, which leads maybe stuff open like the Nido, the Seri Lulu, or whatever. So we might see some really huge scanning picks in the bot side.
I mean, where we end with the Maokai, I think SLOTHS just saw that game and said, nah, let's not have that on the plate. I think it can be really annoying having that. Also, we see again Xayah, really beloved pick at the moment, and D'Amelio, really, really beloved. Unfortunately, NXT does not have any bans.
Yep. And just to keep you guys informed, QT, KT, and Casplank are the 2 emergency supports. So jungle and support are new on the side of NXT, and because of this Emilio ban, we might see some Seri gaming, because usually you go either for the handshake or both sides get banned out. In this case, just one side gets the ban, so the other side is open, and now the question becomes, do you just secure the Yuumi or do you just secure the Seri? And then NXT has the option to pick Seri or Yuumi away, or to just play against Seri Yuumi. That's one way to play it, and Adefla goes for Seri. So now Casplank at least needs to decide, yeah, let's play Yuumi and Aphelios or something, and then we just go for scaling, or even Zumi with Astral Yuumi. That's also a good decision.
Yeah, so on the side of NXT, they decided to go the safe way. They said, let's take Azrael, let's take Yuumi, scale this game, not go for the aggressive plays. So maybe we will see some action on the top side of the map, since we have a really safe bot lane. Also with that Nautilus pick on this and the Wukong pick on the side of SLOTHS, a lot of engage, a lot of all-in, a lot of CC.
Yeah, and actually, and that's just my opinion, I think Shredded on a carry like a Wukong fits him quite a lot better, because normally he is a Kindred main, and I think on the first 2 match days we saw him on Maokai and Sejuani, and especially the Sejuani performance was not the greatest. So just having him more placed on the real carry, and especially in both games, he tried to go for those invades. So now with a real carry instead of a tank, those invades have quite a lot of punch into them. So I believe that could be a much stronger way, and I think it's Kreisen fourth play on this Nautilus. I believe on the first 2 match days at least he played Nautilus, so just giving this really strong support, like such an engaged bottom for him, definitely is a good way. And because of all those dashes, we have a Poppy already for next. So Ninja, Tiger, or QT, KT will play the Poppy.
Yeah, the Poppy might be really annoying for SLOTHS, since we have a lot of engage. We have Zeri really wants to jump in, get that all-in, ult, and team fight. Shredded with Nautilus that really wants to keep that hook, get into it. Not with Wukong, even the same. So I think that it was really good from NXT to take that Poppy pick.
Yeah, definitely.
And now we also have those 2 last bans from the side from SLOTHS. I mean, I think the mindset should be good. Now we play the first game today. We get free plates, eating good.
Yep, and I really like the Orianna ban, just because Conrad is a big Orianna player. Then of course, at the moment it's kind of full AD, so just taking out Malphite, taking away a big engaged champion here for next is definitely a good idea. And there's Rakan. And yeah, there's no Rakan. I was thinking about maybe Rakan mid lane coming back into the meta somehow, and they just bamboozled us, or I don't know what they wanted to do with the Yuumi pick, but no, it's not a Rakan pick. No, he kind of did a little misplay in the Champ Select already. The nerfs, or maybe the client just bugged or something. So we will just see the same pick or buns, and then of course a different pick coming for their ADC player who just picks probably for mid lane or for top lane or something. Anyway, I believe it should be the Poppy jungle, because Samurai Tiger or Tiger is not really a Poppy player, at least from a solo queue point of view. So it could be the Poppy jungle, and then the question becomes, do they now want to just place him on the tank like he was on the last couple of days? I believe he played the Sion once or twice and stuff. So just placing him on a safe tank in a good matchup against Flex, and then just giving your mid laner probably last pick could be one way, or just getting one of those easy to clear mid lane wave picks and just getting maybe Tiger the last pick could be a way, because Flex has a huge champion pool, and just giving him not the option to counter pick you might hurt the Rift's loss. But I believe he knows that there's a big tank champion pool, so Lex will either way just play Quen or something. So especially with you Wukong, this Quen pick makes a lot of sense, because then you have like this AD AP combination, and I believe that that's the way. And now Tiger probably needs to think about a way to play around Quen, and he might just go for the Sion, because that worked, I think, one time for them or something. I believe that he played this matchup once in the league so far, so we might see that. Anyway, let's just go through the same picks and same no bans, and it will be annoying, but that's the way it goes.
So on the side of SLOTHS, last weeks we have seen a lot of scaling, a lot of slow games. I mean, I think they really want to take their slogan by name, by saying that they will get their opponents very slowly. I think they really took that to the next level, since we started the season with like a 50-minute game with that scaling Jhin until the bot lane. On this case, we are having the Zeri with the Wukong, with the Nautilus. Like we said, we have a lot of all-in, and I think they're still going to keep it that way. Maybe with another carry, I might think for the mid lane, where they just scale, play for the gold, and then go for those mid lane, late game fights, play around the objectives, not forcing any fights they do not have to take, since they just need their carries to scale. This is the win condition. Even now, we have a lot of CC, we have the Zeri, also Zeri scaling can be a really big threat with that mobility.
Yeah.
Seeing that scaling, yes.
Let's talk about a pick for Buchan. Do we think he will play the Nico? Because he played 5 Nico games on solo queue in the last couple of days. And Nico wasn't banned, so I mean, X couldn't really ban him, and especially with the Wukong AP80 combination, I believe Nico could be a huge pick by Buchan. So we might see that, or maybe Next want to pick it away. That's essentially one thing they could do, because in my opinion, right now the draft could look like Quen for Lex and the Nico for Buchan. Then of course you have the Wukong, so you have a lot of engage, you have a lot of good sharing by 80 AP. But let's see if with SLOTHS think they need a little bit more engage, because Ezreal could be hard to reach, but you have already like the Wukong, you have already the Nautilus, so could work. But there's a Poppy who always is annoying to work around, so we maybe see Nico and Quen, but we might see something different.
Where SLOTHS says engage, Next says disengage. I mean, by playing that safe bot lane with Ezreal, Yuumi, having that Yuumi ult, and the kick from the Poppy, we do have a lot of CC, a lot of disengage, which might make life hard for the SLOTHS to engage. Would have been funny though if they would have played also Rakan, because the Rakan would have helped for the disengage and also the engage, which would have synergized really good with that Poppy. But maybe in another game, another life, when we have 6 players.
Yeah, and I just believe that Rakan mid lane, especially blind against Buchan, is just game losing, because Buchan probably just plays a melee champion and runs you down, or I don't know. There could be tons. Especially I think Buchan might just play like Pantheon then, and if he jumps in, you always can just get your shield up in time and then just stun him, and then there's no mobility left for Rakan. So I believe that would not be the best matchup in the world for Rakan mid lane. Anyway, we will see what the mid lane or top lane pick looks like. In my opinion, it should be just a tank, and there's it. So I don't think that Tiger has like the hugest carry champion pool, so just giving him a tank and just sitting on weak side is the better thing. And then you have the last pick for your own mid laner. And now the big question becomes if Lex want to play the Quen, and there's she is. So I actually was right with the prediction, and if they pick Nico, I would be right with both predictions, and there she is. So kind of the prediction got here next to you. It's insane.
It looks like the SLOTHS have just watched the stream, just been like, okay, Hannah wants us to play this. Okay, let's just play this. That's fine. No, I'm quite skeptical, because though we have the, let's say, the weaker safe playing bot side, we get the tank on the opposite side. So now champ select wise, I'm kind of scared for Next that they maybe might be lacking a little bit of damage. On the other side, the SLOTHS picks look, in my opinion, really stable. We have a lot of scaling. We have that Wukong that can be really aggressive on early mid games, and that Nautilus that can just peel and hook for that Zeri. I mean, this. In my opinion, the champ select looks a little bit brighter from the side of the SLOTHS. But Next might be here with some surprises.
Yeah, definitely, and I really want to talk about this mid lane matchup, because normally every single mid lane mage has big problems against Nico, just because she really can burst you down, and if you get ulted, it's probably over. but especially with his, and I like to call it boom boom pet, that could be a huge point of counter play, because you just lay it down and you just knock her away a few milliseconds before she ults, so she can't reaches you in the backline, because she just runs at you, then you knock her away, and then the ultimate comes down. So it could be a really big thing about the team fights. And
We have the
yeah.
teams propsing.
Yeah, both teams just they just banter or just give some honest things about each other. I mean, that's cool to see. Anyway, so I really like the 6 pick, and then you can always check those minion waves. You can just clear them before Neeko even would get to you with your minion form. So I believe that this 6 pick would definitely work against Neeko. So and we already talked about the whole disengaged squad from NXT, and I believe with the boom boom pad and with the whole wave clear options of 6, it's kind of a lot of disengage as well. So I quite like just the combination. Oh, you have Yumi and Ezreal on 6 for the poke, you have Poppy as disengage tank, you have just Ornn as a full engage tank, so it could definitely work out for them. But of course, this team comp of Rift SLOTHS looks really, really scary.
I mean, for me, seeing Neeko in game is for me just sending a message of, guys, this is going to be the mystery box, but are you sure you really want to open that mystery box? I mean, it's also going to be a game of receiving leads, wards, and minions, just needing to count those minions, being really careful about how many minions come into lane, which side am I allowed to walk if you should see a ward, or even also can play some tricky games to the jungler. I mean, you just sneak into the jungle, take the blue buff, disguise yourself as a blue buff.
Yeah, that's true. Neeko is always a wild card in those drafts, and she is just kinda easy to play. Your poke Q is really, really strong, and especially against squishy targets, especially against non-mobile targets, it's just easy to execute as a Neeko player. So, and Bukan, 5 last solo queue games on Neeko, he won all 5 of them. So he is a scary man on a scary mission to dominate mid lane. And then we have just a lot of confidence coming out from Lex, just getting the Quen. And I really like just shredded on Wukong, because that's his solo queue champion pool. So he definitely knows how to play it. He definitely knows how to win with it. And because of that, I believe that should be the focus of Rift, more than like those double tank frontline stuff with shredded being on Sejuani or something. So I believe that they drafted really, really well, but of course 5 bans are missing in this game, so the draft got a little bit spicy with the Sariyumi and the other OP picks like the Neeko. Normally those would be banned in most of the games.
I agree totally. So having no bans doesn't make the situation more easy for NXT. And I also more think that maybe they want to go for more safer play with that Ezreal and the Ziggs that are able to go for picks with their ultis. So even though the SLOTHS have a really strong comp for the late game, I don't think NXT should be underestimated with those picks, because if the coordination for this team is executed well, this might also be a threat for the SLOTHS, and the scaling might take a little longer, which is not something that SLOTHS wants to take for granted.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. Hopefully we will get in-game soon. There is it, and welcome, guys, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, welcome every League of Legends enthusiast to this Rift SLOTHS against NXT our second match of the day, our second match of this Friday. And yeah, it will be a banger, definitely. And I hope you will enjoy this matchup.
So we already have that misleading Nico trying to scare some people away with that Nautilus transform. I saw a lot of pinks on the side of the bot lane, which I was really excited because I thought, okay, now we will see a lot of actions because both teams really just want to rotate the same path. Unfortunately, we did not get that action. We have the classical let's close the lanes, play safe, go to the lanes, get this farm. We see on the side of the top side, they maybe do. No, we have the vision on the pix. Oh, and now we have the first fight where Ornn just wanted to peek, but Lex showed him the way back to his tower.
Yeah, bunch of damage coming there. And like Ornn does a little trick here. He just buys the refillable, which costs him 150 money. And then he just waits with his other 350 money to then gain 100 money to buy the Doran shield, because now you can't buy Doran shield and refillable potion. So he just waits 100 money to then get refillable with Dorans. But that's kind of really dangerous because he has no starting item yet, and that's the reason why those trades are a little bit harder to play at in the early game. And we see Shredded being invading for the 4th time in a row. This guy just likes to invade other junglers if he is on a tank or if he is a really strong 1v1 champion like with this Wukong, and teams should really notice that and should really know that he goes for them, but just don't play around that. And now we even might have the first blood on the S. We want to play. There were a lot of trouble coming there, but Creason tries to flash grab it and they can't get it. And now there's a double kill for the S. What the early game play. They didn't secure level 2, but with the kill on Seri, they got level 2 and could trade away. What a 2v2 outplay by the SLOTHS player. And now even Shredded in a lot of trouble, can't really get something there. What an early game by NXT, getting in with 2 emergency substitutes and just kinda crushing the early game. I mean, that's nothing I would have believed.
Me neither. I thought we take the Asbel, we take the Yumi, we go for the safe one. They got the engage, but next just said next, guys. Try next time. Try next time to get that engage. This is, of course, something we do not want on the side of the SLOTHS. And now, with a little setback, we'll have to play... Yeah, we will have to wait for the jungler. Now we have, on the side of NXT, we have the jungler helping the bot lane to push out the wave, maybe to get that fast reset the gold with the... Yeah, Azrael got 2 kills, so we have a lot of gold on that Azrael.
Yeah.
That we want to spend.
There was just no camp bot lane left, so he needed to wait essentially for the scatter trap to spawn, to at least get something on the bot lane now. But of course he will lose a lot of top lane camps probably in the meantime. And there was just a funny little item start as well for Conrad, who started with the Sapphire Crystal, which is really like quite unusual, I would say. Normally you could start with Tier or with Doran's Ring, of course. Now he gets his item spike with the Lost Chapter a little bit sooner, but I don't think that that's the best decision. I would probably start with Tier, but who knows. Now he has Lost Chapter and can probably pressure Nico a little bit more, so that's the way it goes. And we see now KT on the top lane gank, maybe against Lex, but just 2 tanks against Gwen isn't like really strong. There's the flash coming from Lex. And really respectable from Lex, by the way, that he plays flash teleport, because usually a lot of Gwen players would like to have the ignite or would like to have the ghost, but he goes for like the more team fighting approach or just more competitive approach with flash and teleport.
Though we did have the 2 tanks on the top side, we still have to respect all the CC we get from these tanks, and we do have magical max life damage on that W from Ornn, which would have shredded Lex into an instant if he would have got caught.
Yeah, you outplayed it, essentially. Got out there because KT didn't have Flash. With Flash, they could have followed Lex, but without, it was just not possible. In the meantime, I mean, I think it was the 1k gold lead after the early game, but they essentially got back into the game, especially with like the small farming leads on some of the lanes, especially mid lane and jungle. And with that, they kinda got back into it. But nothing too bad at the moment. Those trades from Nico are just really, really strong by Conrad. By Luca, and Conrad really has to suffer a lot. Boots are really essential in such a matchup just to dodge those skill shots, because if you get caught by the roots, then you get caught by all 3 Q thingies, and then you just get dealt a lot of damage.
We have Wukong on the side of the bot lane. I think the best play would be to secure that vision, get that leap on the bot side, force that Drake. If the Poppy should peek, maybe turn with a hook from Nautilus, since we can all-in him with all that all-in power. And the bot lane from NXT will not be able to join because they still have to take all those minions. We have the Nautilus invading the enemy jungle to go for the vision, get that jungle, and he says, "Get out of my jungle because this is mine. Poppy, your jungle is my jungle." We get the first pings on the side of the Drake, and now we start the Drake. With no vision on the Nautilus, we have the bot side playing really safe. And instantly, where Nautilus shows himself, we see an engage from Azrael. We really see that both teams really communicated, and the awareness in the game is at its top.
Yep, but Sirius can definitely play safe versus an Ezreal. She has her dash, so nothing should really happen. And a lot of this early game comes down to Poppy buying the Ionian boots, while Wukong has Sheen and a longsword, or had Sheen and a longsword. So if both junglers would have met, Poppy can't win the 1v1 with no stats, essentially. So that's why she definitely needs to respect those invades by the Wukong. And with that, Wukong got the blue buff and got the Drake and stuff. So definitely really strongly played at the moment. I shredded in this early game, getting his team kinda ahead just by his presence and getting the first dragon for his team. And the early game kinda gets back to a small low. And Ezreal just is a scaling champion, so he can't really do something with those 2 early kills. He just got his tier a little bit sooner and probably sits on a lot of gold, can probably buy his Sheen when he gets to the base. And with that, then he starts like putting some punch into those auto attacks. Oh, Creason with a really dangerous hook under the turret, but of course survives. And now QT, KT with a good flash engage here onto the Wukong. They could just kill him! What a play by the whole team! They know they can burst him down with the 6 ultimate, and now they can essentially just steal this Herald. I just thought, yeah, Poppy will just use the Keeper's Verdict out of the brush, just ult them away and just steal it. But no, they just get the monkey and steal it. What an amazing play by NXT.
This was really beautifully made by NXT, and this is also the threat I was talking about before. Since we do have that CC from those tanks, the carries like Azrael and Ziggs are not... They don't have to walk until there. They have their cooldowns, and if the communication is right and the timing also, those picks can be made with their cooldowns. I mean, we just saw this play beautifully made by Conrad.
Yeah, and to be honest, emergency supports, emergency what? I mean, those two just play perfectly right now, as if NXT never played with other guys, right? And I mean, they play at the moment against maybe the strongest team in the league, and they essentially crushed them in this early game with 2 emergency substitute players. I mean, that's kind of a bummer for all the Rift fans. But it's nothing is lost. We already saw Rift on the edge of losing, and they just clutched it out in 50 minutes. So maybe Rift Sloth just needs their own time to get back, and especially with like those 2 side lanes, Nico and on the side lane can always go for kills on 6 later on, and top lane matchup is also winning for Lex. So nothing is lost. They have a lot of scaling, they have a lot of engage, and I would even say that they will outscale, even though it's hard to say because I quite like Ezreal, Yuumi and Six, so that's a lot of scaling as well. And Poppy is kind of a wild card because she just ults those strong members away, right? So it's not that lost, and so I think scaling is fine for both sides, especially like Sari without Yuumi isn't like too strong anymore. So that could be a bummer for Rift Sloths as well. But I will definitely play through side lanes and probably win because of that. But right now they have kind of a tough time.
Yeah, and the tough time keeps going on since they dropped the Baron on the bot side and take those 3 platings.
Oh, the last one. Just look at the last one. It's so close. Oh no.
They just did not. Free real estate and we don't take them. That's really a shame for NXT. And some luck for the Sloths.
Yeah. Sometimes even a slow sloth finds something, I guess. I wanted.
Yeah, exactly. Very slowly.
I wanted to say something with like the blind chick who gets a corn or something. At least that's a German phrase, and I don't know if there's even an English one. So, but yeah, sometimes the sloth can also catch up, right? So against someone who is really slow. Then the sloth even wins the race. And isn't there even like a paradox with Achilles and like a turtle? And if the turtle gets just a small head up, the paradox says that the turtle will always be in front of Achilles, even though Achilles walks a lot slower, lots faster than the turtle, because in the meantime the turtle has at least like a portion of a footstep, and then like the paradox says in Infinity she's always ahead, but it's just a paradox because of course she will get outrun. But anyway, just Google Achilles and turtle paradox or something. Anyway.
Oh, I will.
Yeah,
I for really, sure will. I was thinking about the turtle though.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'm just talking shit right now. I'm sorry. I even get tagged by the regime because we don't talk about League of Legends anymore. Anyway, I'm so sorry. But it's just me. Like sometimes I keep talking and then just after 5 minutes I realize that I'm casting a game and not just talk to a good friend. But
well, who knows? Maybe after having seen that cast and that they had, if they should win next, maybe they will change their logo to a turtle.
Oh, the knockup! But even this knockup lands, and in the end, with the damage of Nico, they get this kill. Wonderfully played by Bukan, and of course our man Creason, the retired pro who comes back into the scene and is one of the playmakers of Rift right now.
So even though the Sloths were not that lucky in their early fights, they still did manage to keep that gold up. We only have a difference of 500 gold between both teams, so hope is not lost for the slow Sloths. We have one Drake on both sides, and we see the first pings on the side of the Herald. Zeri with a full item. We got top side.
Yeah.
That is going for that tower.
Yeah.
One is trying it, but we have that Gwen who, like the last game, is a good top lane scaling champ. has a lot of AP damage, has a lot of true damage, and if you let that Gwen scale, she will hurt.
Yeah. One thing I usually say, because I'm a top lane tank player as well, and Gwen against Ornn is one of the most depressing matchups you can play as the Ornn, because like there's nothing. You can't trade, you can't defend, you can't. Basically, it's over after a couple of minutes. I mean, he had the early game, he could farm a little bit, but no, essentially, like he can do essentially nothing, and he will hopefully group up and find some engages, because otherwise side lane is lost forever. And there's maybe one more depressive matchup, and that's against Eloy. Eloy Ornn is unwinnable after minute 2 or something, so that's maybe the most bullshit 1v1 matchup, but Quen is just unwinnable for Ornn as well. And oh, they go for a bot lane play with the Keeper's Verdict, but it got stopped. In the end, they still can maybe secure the turret, but Zeri tries to go in, and they're 6, so they can maybe fight it 4v4 right now. And there was the boom boom pet against Nico. I said it, I predicted it. Oh man, I'm so great or something, and now they try to get on Nico, but she gets out, and there comes the W from Poppy to stop Wukong. What a play there from all of them. But oh man, I'm so hyped to just predict this boom boom pet thing against Nico. I mean, that's so great. I said it in champs, like they did it. Nico had no chance. I'm sometimes amazing. I'm sorry.
That's the cheat. Just watch the Rifts entertainment stream, and you will get all the hacks to win your games in the Division 2. I mean, I felt what you said before about the top lane, since I am the Ornn main on the top lane, and playing against Gwen is, like you said, no fun at all. You do have some room in the early levels, but at the moment she gets 10 above, it's unplayable. She will just shred you.
Yeah. She'll cut you down even though you are a tank. I mean, just think about it. You are a big, beefy tank, and she has just little scissors, and she can just cut you down, and it's annoying.
It's like winning. I mean, if they would play rock, scissors, paper, she was supposed to lose, but I think these are magical scissors, you know, so we shred through that stone.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, it's just depressing. Anyway, 30 seconds on Drake. It could be the third Drake of this game. And it could be, it is the third Drake of this game. But whoever gets it, that's something we will see in a couple of seconds with the split push of Quen. Oh no, they don't split push with her. They teleport into it to try to keep the team fight with Quen. I don't know if it's the right decision, because Tiger is on the way as well. There was a good hook from Creason, but in the end they just survive it. And now, yeah, there's just a poking game, and now even the engage from Ornn. They try to get onto Quen with a good stun, with a good bomb, and there's the kill onto Lex. Why do those teams keep their split pusher in those team fights? I don't believe it. And now Shredded even needs to run away, but he gets just bombed away. A second kill for the 6, and Rift SLOTHS just play around your side lanes. They do the Pertinax. I don't know. I can't believe it that so many teams just think let's 5v5 with split pushers. It's just I don't know.
I believe that there is a lot of pressure in their communication, and their teammates or captain also calling them to the fights, and of course they will follow the call, even though maybe their opinion would be right. And I also think that we are not there yet where those scaling champs want to be. I hope for the SLOTHS that this was a wake-up call to tell them, okay, we need more gold, we need still a little bit more scaling, and then those are the fights we might be able to take. They still have a really, NXT has a really beefy front with that Ornn, with that ulti that you really have to respect, with that Poppy that has a lot of movement speed can be really aggressive towards the squishies in their teams.
Yeah, like normally against a split pusher, right? You want to try to do a team fight because then the split pusher needs to teleport in and help the team. But if the split pusher is already there and you just engage him because Gwen used the immunity already, she can just be engaged with Orn and Poppy just being killed, and yeah, that's just. And I mean, you see how bad this matchup is. Like, Ninja Tiger can't do nothing. I mean, it's so depressing to see. It's just a tank under the turret and he can do nothing. It's look at that. It's so sad. But they don't play around it. They just, I don't know. They try to fight a trade, and I don't know why.
He's taking one for the boys. He's taking one for the team.
And now they're trying to engage Creason, and that looks really tough for the big boy. He just will die against the S3. Really good play there from the team next, and now they can maybe try to look for something. I mean, that is teleport on the minion because they didn't knew if Gwen is fast enough to kill the turret. I mean, that's something you should think about, that he teleports not on the turret but on the minion because he wasn't sure. Yeah, I mean, those sidelines just look miserable. I mean, that's what I thought, that 6 against Nico is kind of good for the 6. That's why that 6 is. But yeah, I mean, top lane just looks rough, or bot lane right now. But at the moment, Rift is still ahead. That's, of course, if you just look at gold leads, I mean, every single lane is basically ahead in gold, at least ahead of farm. So there's no wonder why they are ahead in total gold, even though they might have missed some of those team fights. I mean, it's 6-1. So a lot of kill gold is in next hand, but a lot of farming gold and objective gold is in Rift hands. So right now both teams are still in game and both teams can still do it. But Rift definitely needs to play around lags, while next needs to force some more team fights, needs to force some more of those catches to finally get something, because if they just wait, I think that it could be tougher and tougher how long they wait. So they definitely need to do something in a couple of minutes, because otherwise all the turrets will just drop, because Nico, because Gwen, if she reaches those turrets, one can't stop her from taking down. I mean, just look at that. And she will do it with Nexus turrets, she will do it with Indy turrets. So for every single minute you let Gwen push, you will lose something. And that's the reason why you need to force something. You need to force the Baron, you need to force a team fight, because otherwise you will just lose.
Not only we are losing the towers on the side of Next, but also again the jungle, where we see Poppy really behind in CS compared to Wukong, with a 60 minion CS lead. We have a shutdown on the both carries of the bot lane, which might give a little more lead to the one who gets the kill. On the side of Rift, we do see, though, even if we take bad fights, if we get the farm right, this will keep us in game. And this is again proven that even though haven't taken lost fights, we can still stay in game by playing right around our objectives, playing around our minions, having the push lead with the minions, not denying the farm.
Yeah, and you can see that mid lane is kind of 1 kill ahead. On bot lane, there it's even 1k. On top lane is 2k, and there's the engage onto this Zeri, and she just got deleted. Now we have a winning team fight from Next. That's especially the force that they need to do, but just look at side lane. Teleport from 6, but 6 probably just get dived there. He needs to be really careful. Okay, he just clears the minions, that's fine. And now Baron is on the table, so that's really a good decision, because Orn can't hold Gwen, and 6 probably can just clear the minions, so that Gwen can't really get to the turret. And now it's a 4v4 at the Baron pit. It looks like a 3v4 because Yumi is just into his S3, but there is Lexi teleported into it. Six gets a good engage, but Reason is already dead, but that's a dead S3, and without your win condition you can't really fight it anymore. Baron is on 3k, can Shred it secure it, or can QTXT can get into it. He is in the pit, but he gets bursted down. Now even a flash into it, and they steal it! Next steals this Baron, and now with Conrad they have a lot of damage onto Nico, but in the end, really good damage there by Adafla. Gets one, gets another, reflects together. It's just one more Baron buff from QTKT, and he tries to get out against Shredded Keepers, where they keeps him alive. So the heist was kinda worth it. They stole the Baron, but they lost kinda every single member of their team. And in the end, just Poppy surviving. They lost even a second turret now. What a game there from Rift. And now they try to get onto Legs, and with a lot of damage there, they even get a shutdown. QTKT can maybe even re-engage, or they can maybe try to go for the Baron, for the Drake, because Adafla needs to go base. Lex is dead, so that could be a Drake for next, if they can secure it at least.
Yeah, fortunately on the side of Next we also kept Baron, so we did not lose everything after giving so much kills and so much gold to the SLOTHS. We see that SLOTHS do not want to give that Drake to Next, and there we have been... No, we keep it, Next keeps it, so 3 Drakes on Next, 1 Drake on Rift.
Yeah.
Though we still have gold lead for the SLOTHS. I mean, was it worth now? I think, in my opinion, this wasn't really worth. We do have the Baron still on the side of Next, but giving those so much resources to Rift was, in my opinion, a really big mistake if Rift should utilize the resources they just got.
Yeah, and just look at those fat carries, 6 and Ezreal essentially. They can definitely win a team fight on their own. And I believe that they have a winning game plan in their heads, because if they just play 6 where the Quen is and just protect with double tank this Ezreal, they can definitely win those team fights. So for them, they really don't want Ornn on the sideline against Quen, because Ornn cannot handle her. So 6 needs to go on side lane, and Stanley just needs to try to find a good engage with Ornn and Poppy and the follow-up of your Ezreal. So that could be the way out for Next, but now they just get pushed in. And just look at the true damage from Lex. I mean, it's so much damage. Now the needles come out, and essentially he gets the solo bolo on the flip side even. This Conrad goes down, some wave clear coming down from Ezreal, but it's not enough. They just traded the whole base for a top lane tier 1 turret. That was not the play for Next. They lost a lot for that and just got 1 turret. That was not worth it.
That was absolutely not worth it. Just trading 2 of your teammates plus the base. I mean, we need to keep those ideas straight, or we will just run into that losing screen if we once again should do or take such a decision for Next. Really crucial. Now we do have the mid lane open for Next, which makes them do that they have to push the mid lane to keep the lane up, or the minions might just get into the base, which also gives Gwen these minions to push the mid side.
Yeah.
But we do see Gwen on the side lane. We have the mid lane pressure, so continue getting the next pressures on the next lanes. Like you said, Ornn cannot do it, and if they continue sending that Ornn back to the same lane as Gwen, this might end very, very badly. And so we see again that Ornn is going to the top side to contest her. And this is also where we might see the next bloodbath, since we have the SLOTHS running around in Next jungle.
Yeah, and do you want to hear something funny? I believe that Ornn could have hold mid lane in the 3v1 because they could never ever tower dive Ornn there. And meanwhile, 6 could have defended Gwen, but because they swapped Gwen and Ornn on the wrong lanes, they lost both sides. But I believe there was no chance to tower dive Ornn onto the inhib turret, while 6 couldn't have been dove by Gwen, right? So I think they just need to play their side lanes right. And I think this indecisiveness by NXT right now, it's kind of costing them the game.
It is. I do think that with a lot of CC, they could have played this mid scenario which you just told us, but they would have needed to trade a lot of resources like HP, maybe trading one of their own like Nautilus to keep that Ornn in front of their carry so they can do enough damage to kill him, but would have been really risky. I think that their Rift took the better trade in that scenario.
Yeah, and now the big question becomes, who wants the soul, who wants the Baron, because both objectives spawn at the same time. Now we see 6 on the side lane. I think that's the right decision. Of course, he needs to be really careful. He needs to be really safe against this Gwen, but if he just plays his bombs and just throws them, and there comes the engage with the Ornn onto the Sari. They have a lot of damage, but it's not enough. And now they try to get to the S3. There comes the teleport. Neeko gets S3 kinda low. Now he is dead. Really well played by Shredded, and now they just have no damage left because 6 couldn't teleport in, and now Lex just tries to follow 2 of them, and they can't even win with Yuumi and Ninja Tiger. Now they let Yuumi recall, but Lex knows that Yuumi is there and he just dies. That's so sad. While Conrad could just clear the minion waves, Lex kinda gets both of them. I mean, that's really sad to see. And now they will just lose the Baron, and I mean, Lex can just get the Drake as well. And I think 6 is, not 6, S3 is just not the hyper carry you need in those team fights. I mean, he can't really keep up the damage while he gets doved by Wukong and by Neeko. And I believe that Poppy shouldn't just mindlessly trying to kill someone. I mean, they have double tank and both engage on Sari, but because of that, no tank is next to Ezreal. So 2 Bruisers or two Assassins, or I mean Wukong and Neeko, definitely can kill Ezreal, while 2 tanks just can't kill Yuumi, can't kill Sari. So I think that's just the math is just not working for NXT right now.
It is looking really hard at the moment, because after having made 1 or 2 minor mistakes, taking 1 or 2 bad fights, Rift turned the gold lead to 5k for them, which is a lot of gold. We have now Gwen with the Rabadon, which doesn't make the situation better for NXT. We still have the 3 Drakes on the side of NXT, but since they cannot keep up with the pressure from the lanes, they need to play defensive, take the lanes, not force fights, and respect that Rift took the lead of the map at the moment.
Yeah, and again, it's not 6 against Gwen, so they will just lose another turret against the group with the Baron. And now 6 needs to kinda defend it, but that's the big problem. If they lose the Baron, they can't really defend even with 6, because those minions are just way too tanky. They try to go for a last stand team fight, but can't really find something, and Lex will probably just finish either Ornn or the inhib. So I mean, either way, it's fine for Gwen. And I don't believe that NXT can really play it. They need both tanks to defend or to fight, but they try to defend Gwen with 2 tanks. I mean, that's never ever happening. And so Lex kinda gets a 2v1 solo bolo, but now gets engaged by the whole squad. Really good Sonya's there. They can maybe go for next for Lex, but no, he's just survived 2 inhibs down, 3 inhibs down, and I believe Rift will just clear this game in a couple of seconds because there's no one who can stop them. They used all the ultimates to engage. Now the teleport from Dukan probably in the base. Yeah, there is. And yeah, they will just siege it with those Baron minions, siege minions, and now they can just engage on Ninja, and there he goes, and with that, NXT will lose this game to Rift, which could look like a close game, but it wasn't really close at all. Rift just had a better draft, just played it perfectly, and nothing really to get there for NXT.
It's really sad for NXT because they really had a strong early. They played that scenario that I made in my head when I saw this champion select. I mean, they really had this pick-poke potential with Ziggs and Azrael, Yumi, and somehow they just made it to get that double kill on the bot side, but could not utilize their effectiveness enough in the early so that Rift came to the scaling that they needed to win the late game fights.
Yeah,
beautiful game.
And with that, before we go into the next break, just for you guys, the next game is Yorman Gang against Once Upon a Team. There it is, match 3. And no, do we want to bet just a little bit? Is Once Upon a Team good enough to maybe get their first win in so many match days? What is your prediction, or will JMGG get it? Do you want to predict on that?
Like I said, normally I'm the guy that waits for the champion select, but I believe so hard that this team has something in their backpack that they say we are not going out of this tournament with a 0.
So,
we're not doing this.
So you think Once Upon a Team, they get their first win now?
I think they're gonna sweat it.
Okay, perfectly. I think JMGG will win it. So we have a little bet here going. I mean, not with any betting actually, but one prediction from our side, one prediction from your side. Let's go into a break, and after that we will see this upcoming match. Yeah, let's just go into a quick break.
Salut, ich bin Daniel und das ist Nali. Und mir weiß nicht, heute, wenn du Summoner Stands laufen wird. Kommt mit.
Spiel Summoner Stands bei diesem League of Legends Turnier mit.
Oh nein, das hab ich gekillt. Guck, kein Bock mehr auf League.
Beweis den Treffsicherheit bei diesem Bierpunkt-Turnier.
Oh, schau, das so gewonnen. Das ist kein Spaß.
Oder genieße flotten Abend mit der Community.
Eine Straße, viele Bäume. Ja, das ist eine Allee. Allee, 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 Allee.